I'm going to begin by asking how you came to be involved in this particular project. How was it? Just a sort of traditional sort of audition process?
Yes, it came through my agents, and I auditioned in Australia, and I sent the tape off, and they liked it, so I auditioned again, and for my final audition they flew me to LA.
And I mean, there's some scenes in this movie that obviously intended more so for adult audiences. Was
Yeah.
Shane giving you lots of kind of context on the set to say this is what's happening in this scene, or?
The script was quite informative. I knew what was going on, but it wasn't too bad because they made sure that everything was PG while I was on set, and then once I left, that's when they shot all of the X-rated scenes.
So have you seen the movie? Are you allowed to see the movie?
Yeah, I'm allowed to. I've seen it. Yeah.
I was going to say they should make like a sort of special cut just for you, but then I realised it'd probably be about 10 minutes long if you took
Yeah,
that
that is true.
And then the American accent's very impressive. Was that something that
Thanks.
came quite naturally to you, or did you have to sort of meet a dialect coach to try and sort of get into it?
I had a dialect coach on set, but yeah, it was easier than I thought it would be. I think we have a lot of American TV and film in Australia, so that made it a lot easier. And especially once I was in America, I was just surrounded by the accent.
And because there's so many famous Australian actors have made the leap into Hollywood and become a huge sort of success. Does that give you a lot of inspiration when you're kind of, because I mean, you're not kind of confined just to your sort of immediate surroundings. I mean, the whole kind of world is your oyster, and that much has been kind of shown to you from so many famous actors. Is that something that's always been quite inspiring to you and quite kind of promising as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think now that we have so much technology these days, it makes it so much easier for actors and artists in Australia to broadcast their work all over the world. So I think I'm very lucky to live in this day and age.
But do you think it's quite important saying that to still make sort of films in Australia and to help boost that particular film industry?
Definitely. I think the Australian film industry has a lot to offer, and I think the only problem is that people don't get to see it. People don't get to see the Australian film and TV that we make, which has a really good quality. So I think it's really important that more people look for Australian-made projects.
And talking of one of the sort of famous actors that have come from that region,
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, of course. What's he like to work with? Because he's quite a character. I've interviewed him once before, and you don't forget meeting Russell Crowe.
No, he's fantastic. He's so talented, very experienced, so he always knew what was going on and how to do everything. It was just fantastic to watch him work and perform because I could just learn so much from him.
And I interviewed Ryan Gosling once, and then I just texted pretty much every single person I knew that I'd interviewed Ryan Gosling. He plays your dad.
Yes.
Have you been able to kind of restrain yourself when it comes to kind of showing off in front of friends, or has it been quite difficult where this project's concerned?
They kind of show off for me, actually. They will say, oh, she did a movie with Ryan Gosling. So I don't get a chance to show off. My friends kind of freaked out when I told them that I was going to play his daughter, but once I got to know him, he doesn't seem like a huge Hollywood star. He just seems like Ryan. Yeah.
Because of course, but when we actually see the kind of finished product, you don't seem fazed at all. But were there moments where you sort of had to pinch yourself on set, just not just because of who was in it, but just the whole kind of environment and being involved in such a huge Hollywood production?
Yeah, definitely. It was quite overwhelming, especially because it's so different to working on an Australian set, which is a lot smaller. So I didn't know half the people who worked on the project. So it was overwhelming, and there were definitely a lot of moments when I thought, my goodness, I can't believe this is my life.
So have you still got to go back to school now? And that must be quite interesting. You sort of walk, because I mean, if I scored a good goal playing football on like a Friday, I go in on Monday like I was the boss.
Yeah.
So I mean, it must be quite cool sort of going back and seeing all your friends.
Yeah, so The Nice Guys shot over 3 months. So I came back after 3 months of being away, and it was quite strange because all my friends had sort of grown and matured and moved on in their relationships and friendships without me. So I came back, and it was just sort of strange to see everyone in a different place, and I was still in the same place. But I'm really happy with where I am now in school, and I have a great group of friends. So
I mean, it's quite sort of early days, but is acting what you'd sort of like to see yourself doing in the foreseeable future, next sort of 10 years? Is this what you'd like your career to be?
Yeah, I hope it works out for me. It's such an unpredictable business. Things are always changing. You never know what could happen next. I could never get a role ever again. So I do hope it works out for me, but if it doesn't, then maybe it just wasn't for me.
So do you have any kind of backup plans? I mean, because I interviewed Ed Oxenbould, who you might know, obviously.
Yeah,
and he said
great.
that if he wasn't an actor, he'd be a chef. So I was
Oh,
wondering
really?
what's your next kind of hobby down?
Probably a designer of some sort. I really like fashion design. I love fashion. I'm also interested in interior design, which I think is really cool. That's why I loved being on the set of The Nice Guys, because everything was really awesome.
But I'm sure after this you'll get plenty of offers.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time today. It's much
Thanks.
appreciated. Cheers.
It was lovely to meet you.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, you